So I guess that's okay.
I don't mind a bit.
Superintendent John Ross Null is with us, and how are you doing this morning?
Well, I'm doing just fine. Thanks, Gene. And you?
Well, we were just talking about how July is just flying by. We're halfway through July.
It is. It is. And every day brings us a little closer to the first day of school, August the 12th. First day for students, August the 9th will be our first day for our incoming new employees. And everybody else returns on the 10th and has PD on the 10th and 11th. And kids coming back on the 9th.
That's right.
So it's sure exciting that we are at the point right now, unlike last year at this time, wondering, will kids be in school or will kids not be in school? Kids will be in school.
Kids will be in school.
It's a good thing.
Well, I know you've been reaching out, and the school board's been reaching out to the community and getting thoughts, and you guys had a school board meeting this week. I'm sure you gave an update to the rest of the school board members and the community that was there. What do we know about what school is going to look like when it starts here next month?
Well, and the unfortunate thing is that we've still not received anything from the public education department, although last week, as you might have seen, the CDC did come out with pretty extensive guidelines for schools. And of course, most significant is their recommendation that kids be in school for in-person learning. Of course, there were many other facets to that, including masks, and that's probably the hottest topic across our state, and not just in our state. I mean, you read something regarding other states, and some states saying they're going to mandate it for everybody. Some states have said that if you mandate it, then there's going to be a $1,000 fine if you do that to a district, and so it's kind of all over the place. Mm-hmm. And so at least here in New Mexico, talking with other superintendents on our call yesterday, it's really putting schools in a difficult position. The whole mask wearing, whether it's going to be mandated, optional, whether it's going to be a local decision, whether it's going to be a state decision, but it's just putting schools in a tough place because on the one hand, through our New Mexico Public Schools Insurance Authority, we're expected to follow the guidelines of the Public Education Department to be covered if there's any kind of need for that. But at the same time, the CDC does speak to some local control regarding decisions on COVID-safe practices. Of course, they encourage communities, counties to look at rate of spread, number of case counts, those kind of things when they're making some decisions. And I know at least in our community, my impression is certainly that most people are choosing not to wear a mask, even though the recommendation from CDC is unvaccinated folks should wear a mask. But I saw on CDC's website yesterday, I think it showed like 27% of Eddy County fully vaccinated. But then I saw on the news last night on that 40%. So I'm not sure exactly what the percentage is. But when I go out and about in our community, it seems that at least the majority of people, whether vaccinated or not, are choosing not to wear a mask. Me personally, I chose to get the vaccine. That's a personal choice, just as I believe it should be for everyone, for their family to make that choice on their own as they see a best fit for them. And so I can't remember the last time that I've worn a mask somewhere, and
I have one somewhere.
I went to the
case.
I went to the cleaners the other day, and when they handed me my pants, they also handed me a couple of masks that they found in my back pocket, and just in case. But anyway, so
well, according to the state's vaccination dashboard, New Mexico is 18 plus is 63.6% vaccinated. What was the number that you...
Well, I was talking about Eddy County.
Eddy County.
County, and I saw two different numbers yesterday, and neither one of them might be right, but one said 27%. That was on the CDC website, and then I believe it was on KOB last night that they reported 40%.
Well, this is as of July 12th, and this is from the state's vaccination dashboard, and according to that, it says that we are at 40%.
That's what they showed last night on the news.
Completed, and 46.4% have had at least the first shot. But we are one of the lower percentage counties as far as vaccination compared to a lot of the other counties around the state. But I don't know that our infection rate or our case rate is any higher than any other county in New Mexico right now. So it's one of those, okay, we're not as vaccinated. We should have more cases,
sure.
but we don't have more cases, even though we don't have nearly as many people vaccinated. So, well, and that's what I was going to ask you, and you've kind of touched on it a little bit. I guess that's what you don't know is just how much leeway does each individual school district have to set their own policy regarding this.
That is exactly right, Gene, and certainly the majority of the superintendents and the Superintendents Association is asking for some local decision making regarding that, but we just don't know right now, and I said that's why it's a tough position to be in to balance the desires of your community and your county with regulations as a public school that we're expected to follow, and then also CDC guidance, how that plays into it. One kind of interesting thing, we've talked before about American Rescue Plan dollars, and you hear about that a lot in the news for not only schools but communities, for states, and for our district, it's a little over $5 million to be used over the course of 3 years through the American Rescue Plan. Part of the process for getting those dollars is to state in your plan how you're going to follow the CDC's guidance for COVID-safe practices. And again, there are recommendations in there, but there's also they also advocate for some local control based on circumstances. And so anyway, it's a challenge that we're going to work through and do it as positively as we can, and keep it in mind that kids are going to be in school. But anyway, it is a challenge to work through that we're going to keep working at, and hopefully we'll have more concrete information from the Public Education Department soon, and we can deal with that accordingly. And
it's going to be interesting too. I'll give you an example. I know you saw this when the softball championship game were playing Gallup, and you could clearly see the difference between the mask wearing percentages between the Artesia fans and the Gallup fans. There were a lot more masks being worn in that community. So there's a local decision on that. What's going to be interesting is organizations like the NMAA, the Activities Association, which coordinates athletic competition amongst all the school districts. What's their policy going to be if different districts have different, slightly different policies regarding masks and COVID and traveling and all that? So it's a challenge for everybody to try to figure out where to hit.
It really is.
Yeah. So that's well. Anything else from the school board meeting that you'd like to talk about this week?
Mr. Phipps gave a really informative presentation on all of the construction projects that are going on across the district, and a lot of pictures of roofing projects and HVAC projects, and a new bus lane construction over at Roselawn, which is going to make their arrival and dismissal, much safer, separating those that are being dropped off and picked up by their parents from those that are riding the bus, and so just got the board and others that were in attendance got the opportunity to get a good look at those things that are going on. Our maintenance facility that's finishing up at Ritchie and 13th Street, and so just a lot of great things going on to get ready for the school year. Carpeting, a lot of painting, all of those kind of things to make sure that our kids and our staff have a great place to work in, and of course Artesia is very unique, and we have such community support of all of those projects of our HB 33 funds, which are in November. We'll have an election to ask the voters to approve the continuation of that $5 million levy, which enables us to take care of these projects as well as look at future new construction, and so we'll be communicating with different groups across our community over the next few months in preparation for that.
So you guys went ahead and moved it to November.
We did. The other option,
because it would cost money if you didn't move it, right?
Well, correct, because the other option would be a mail-out ballot, and so no, it just makes more sense to do that in November. And then also we'll have 3 board seats open, and so it'll be a very, very, very interesting election time.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything in New Mexico other than. That's probably going to be the only thing on the ballot.
To my knowledge, yes. We were having a conversation about that just the other day, and and to my knowledge, that's what it is.
Yeah, next year will be the midterm for the state and House and Senate and all that. All that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Are you finding enough teachers to fill all the positions you're wanting to fill this year? Are you working on it?
We're getting closer. We still have a number of positions. In fact, I counted up about a dozen positions that we're still trying to fill. Yesterday was an exciting day. We hired a new welding teacher.
Oh, okay.
And our former welding teacher, Miles Mitchell, did a great job for us. He's the new superintendent in Dexter. And we've got a great facility. We partnered with a local foundation a few years ago to remodel our welding shop and also use some of those HB 33 funds that we're talking about. So I have a great facility for welding, and so I was concerned about getting that staffed well as we go into the to this next school year. But we hired a veteran welding and FFA sponsor yesterday to come and join us, and so excited about that program.
Good. Well, that'll be very helpful, and they'll probably be wandering around the fairgrounds next month.
I would certainly anticipate
next month,
that.
Later this month.
It's not, in just a couple of weeks.
Just a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
You were in FFA, weren't you?
Well, I was not. My kids were.
Your kids were.
Yes,
okay.
my kids were, and kids showed most every animal that you could show over the course of their years. My daughter, especially through her senior year. My son, he took more of a athletics path as he got into his latter years in high school, but fantastic program for kids. And you talk about community support. Really support the fair, and I know it's going to be bigger than ever this year after having to do things quite different last year. So excited for those kids and their families. I know the hard work, been there and done that, and the fun and the disagreements that go into all those preparations, but it's worth it in the end.
Sure is. Superintendent John Ross Null, thank you so much for your time.
You bet,
we
Gene.
appreciate it. Anything else we can help you with, just let us know.
Appreciate that. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you. Stick around, folks. We're going to take a break for the